lending for investment. The person who wants to advance as a loan to investor, he should ensure that the investment is made to create wealth, means to create employment opportunity, new asset, to create new innovation, new creativity, and that should be a help to create new value, but not to speculative additional value or excess value, and that is highly dangerous to any economy. Means the lending should not be for speculative investment and should not be for spending. That is the most important. Any person who wants to lend, they should ensure that the money given as loan is used for wealth creation, welfare, investment, commercial activity, business, but not to speculation and for spending. Next is the investment should be only for investments. Means maybe initial public offers or investment in shares or investment in business or investment in property. I stated earlier, unproductive, underproductive, speculative, lavish, luxury, publicity or false propaganda. So it should be, lending should be to create wealth and new asset. And next is speculation versus delivery. Generally shared business is carried on in two ways. One is in delivery based, means the person who is having shares will sell the shares, and the person who needs the shares, he will invest and he will pay money to the purchaser, and the purchaser transfers his shares, delivers his shares to the purchaser. This is the actual delivery based. Another is speculation based. There is no delivery at all. Only speculators will decide the price. That is what happening. Nearly 90% of the share market is based on speculation basis. Maybe mutual funds are also involved. Many commercial organizations are involved in speculation business. That is most dangerous to any economy. So trading in shares should be on delivery basis, cash payment basis, but not on speculation, speculative values, speculative purchase, speculative sale without having any shares. Suppose an investor doesn't have any shares at all, but he will sell the shares without any actual delivery and without any shares, as if he is forward trading. And next he will purchase and settlement. So there is no actual delivery of shares, there is no actual movement of shares, there is no actual movement of funds. So that will unnecessarily add speculation, add unwanted value to the share, and that will create lot of disturbance to the real shareholders who is holding shares. The investment in actual delivery of shares always encourages the investment in commercial organizations, and that will manufacture new goods and services, that will create new employment, wealth creation, infrastructure development. Everything will be supported, everything will help with new investments on delivery basis. If it is not on delivery basis, that will, I stated earlier, it is only speculation to only add false value rather than actual value. So that should be discouraged. Speculation should be discouraged. I stated earlier, in the present share market, capital markets in the entire globe, nearly more than 3/4 share transactions or capital market transactions, financial instrument transactions are based on speculation, which is most dangerous. And we suggest that all transactions of these instruments, equity shares, bonds, debentures, anything, financial assets should be on actually basis, but not on futures and option basis, speculative, which is speculative and more dangerous to any economy. Next is the system whistleblower. So whistleblower means the person who gives information about anything happening inside the organization. Means there should be a window at the regulators level as well as the government level to get information about the performance, about the information, correctness of information provided, to know that correctness of the information provided by the commercial organization. The whistleblower will give information about the strengths and weaknesses in performance or policies, any performance of the commercial organization. That will be seriously looked into. It will add perfection or correctness of the information provided by the commercial organization. That whistleblower should be taken serious. The information provided by the whistleblower should be taken serious because he is providing information with no cost and without expecting any gain. So that is for the benefit of the organization, and that has to be taken care of. That has to be considered by the regulators as well as the government, and to see that to make it correct, to rectify, to regulate the performance of the commercial organization. The investment should be accorded with taxation benefits. How the taxation benefits? Any investment in infrastructure projects or manufacturing sector or skill development should be encouraged with deduction from the taxable income. Means that will encourage the investors to go for investments in wealth creation. Means the majority of the senior citizens will try to invest in the sectors where is low risk and income issued by the government, and also tax benefits are extended. Means every saving, every investment should be encouraged with tax benefits of deductions and exemptions, and that will reduce the tax liability and encourage the investors to go for investment. Infrastructure. So I stated earlier, the infrastructure is the backbone of any economy of any country. So maybe roads or power, maybe connectivity, maybe water services, maybe transportation, everything is infrastructure development, which cannot be carried on directly by the one commercial organization, group of commercial organizations. That has to be carried on under the supervision of the government or regulator only. That is infrastructure. Larger projects has to be supported or funded by the long-term investment by the investors. So majority of the investment should go to the infrastructure development, and that will support to the individual commercial organizations. Suppose if now we can see a lot of investments are coming for road projects, railway projects, power projects, as well as so many projects are coming out, and that is funded by the investors, and that is facilitated by the government. So all infrastructure projects should be monitored and regulated by the government and the regulatory authority, so that the investments are safe and returned with due share of profits and liquidity as and when as per schedule. As far as the investment opportunity infrastructure is concerned, according to the finance minister latest estimation, the Indian infrastructure sector needs nearly 110 lakh crores in a period of 5 years. Means there is a lot of scope for investment in infrastructure projects in India. So many investments can be attracted, maybe diverted to take up new projects, maybe roads, railways, power, connectivity, communication, water services. All this can be taken up with the funds made available by the investors. All investments come from savings only. Savings are due to sacrifice. Means the people who wants to save will sacrifice their present greeds or present aspirations of themselves or family members, and they will try to protect their future with secured future, and that all these investments will be diverted. All this sacrifice will be diverted in savings, and savings will be transformed as investments, and that will add protection to the investor as well as their family for their secured future. And also, all these investments should be regulated by Infrastructure Development Regulatory Corporation or Regulatory Authority to finance the infrastructure needs of the country. And as far as return or income on investments concerned, there is the companies can declare profits or can declare dividends based on their own discretion or based on their own planning. But there is no compulsion on the company to declare dividends to investors, even if they are having sufficient profits or funds. In our suggestion, the investors should get the right share of profits, as and when profit to the commercial organization, some percentage of profit should invariably be distributed to the shareholders to encourage them to more investment. It should not be at the discretion of the board of directors or management or the company. It should be according to the policy prescribed by the regulator or the central government, so that the minimum percent of profit should be distributed among the shareholders to encourage them and also to attract more investments in that sector. Also, the investors can be encouraged with, stated earlier, income as well as rights and bonus shares, so that the people who can opt for rights and shares instead of income, taking back the income, they may opt for investment in shares, further number of shares, adding more number of shares to their existing shares. One more option to the investors that will encourage the investors. That is one way of encouragement. And one more thing is, as stated earlier, the fixed percent of profit should be distributed among the shareholders because who has to encourage them and also to motivate them to invest more in that commercial organization. As stated earlier, the encouragement to investors will always help to attract more and more investments, and the encouragement should be based on profits received or dividends declared to the shareholders, but that should be according to the prescribed policy of the central government or the regulator, but not at the discretion of the company to declare the dividends. As stated earlier, the company should not have option to declare lesser profits as dividends. They should have many option. They should be compelled. They should be enforced that minimum percent of profit should be distributed to shareholders compulsorily as dividend or rights or shares, rights or bonus shares like that. So this is with regarding investments, and if it is, I think these are our suggestions. If that is encouraged, that more and more funds will come to the investment folder to help to fund the long-term needs of infrastructure, manufacturing, agriculture, skill development, anything, any sector will be strengthened with investment. Investment is separate from management. Management is separate from internal management. Management is investment and management are two things that should be separate, and investment is by the investors, management is by the responsible professionals or committed management personnel, those who can take care of the internal management.